So about a week ago, JetStarfish released a new video called Minecraft's Exploration Problem. It got super popular, getting a full 1 million views in just 10 days. I had already created a response video to one of his previous video essays before this point, and some people in my comments were telling me to check out his new video. But I didn't want to spend the time to make another full analysis of a 30-minute video, so I decided to react to it instead. I'm not going to be able to cover the whole thing, so just know that anything I didn't show is something I either agreed with or felt was redundant with the stuff I did. But I kept in most of it, because what I ended up watching was a video full of faulty logic, shameless self-promotion, straight up lies, and an actual crime. It was a wild ride. Let's get started.
1.11, the Exploration Update. With Minecraft at the lowest it's ever been, this update had the potential to turn things around in an instant.
Yeah.
And the only thing they decided to add was woodland mansions.
Wait, okay, I gotta check this. Okay, so right off the bat, that's not true. Observers and shulker boxes, two, let's just say important blocks, were also added. Observers essential to all of modern redstone, like makes basically anything complicated with redstone work, has to have observers in it. Shulker boxes, basically essential for the late game. If you want to store large quantities of items, you gotta use shulker boxes. Those are two pretty essential things. And, I mean, I guess just for creative mode, like spawn eggs, those are pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, other than that, there's really not that much. I mean, llamas, but I don't know. It seems a bit dishonest right off the bat to say they only added woodland mansions, but whatever.
That's it. Woodland mansions are easily the
That's not it.
worst structure in the entire game.
Okay, hard disagree already. No, they aren't. Jungle temples are the worst. Easily. Not even close.
And for three main reasons. One, they're extremely hard to get to. To find one, you have to go to a village, level up different cartographers until one sells you a woodland explorer map, buy it, travel thousands of blocks until you get to the right location.
I like that it's hard though. That's fun. It's almost more like an Easter egg than anything. Like this enormous freaking house just sitting out in the middle of nowhere that you have to go a ridiculous distance to find. I think woodland mansions are better if you think of them as an Easter egg rather than a thing you're actually supposed to find, you know? Still, I wish they had better loot, which I think he's gonna get to.
You have to burn the entire thing down just to get to any of the chests. And speaking of...
Okay, obviously an exaggeration. I don't think they're that hard to navigate, but whatever. To each their own, you know?
Chests, there's issue number 3. They have nothing in them. Mansions
True.
have no good loot, no helpful features, nothing. How do
Yeah,
you get
this
them
is
from
all
raids
true.
instead? There's literally no reason to go to a mansion.
Okay. Yes. Structure. Okay, so stupid. I like ancient cities. Way too OP. Yeah, I can agree with that. Okay, whatever.
From structures to biomes to those stupid-ass desert wells that do absolutely nothing, there are so...
Okay, but okay. Desert wells do nothing for a reason. This is a bit of a weird thing to say. They're not supposed to be like a structure you loot, okay? Like, finding a desert well is almost like finding a tree. It's just like a bit of flavor, you know? Like, it shows that sometime in the past of this Minecraft world, someone has been here and constructed a well, you know? Like, that's fun. I like that. And they added more to this with the archaeology stuff, like how you can find stuff around the with archaeology now, around the desert well. Like, that's the whole point. It's not really supposed to be like a big thing you loot. Like, you wouldn't find a chest in a well anyway. It's just some like nice flavor. I get it's a joke, but the problem is it's hard to tell if he actually believes it.
I remember when I would love to go out and explore, but nowadays it just doesn't feel the same.
Okay.
Then again, since that point, we've survived a worldwide plague, housing prices have more than doubled, and we've all aged 10 years, but come on, why do things feel so different? The point is...
Okay, but I feel like that sort of undermines your point then, doesn't it? Oh, whatever. Right?
Shit.
Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, I always thought typo jokes were funny. Okay, they are funny so long as they go on for less than 10 seconds. Ooh.
Climbing harrowing terrain and fighting dangerous
All his
mobs,
videos are
all
super
to
well
reach your
edited.
final
No criticism there.
The ancient city. They're interesting, exciting, and most importantly, dangerous. And in age where Minecraft continues to get easier, ancient cities offer a challenge that you can't find anywhere else. They also have the worst loot in the entire game. To illustrate...
Hard disagree. First of all, jungle temples exist, okay? Like, jungle temples, significantly worse. This is just objectively not true. Okay. The loot is a little bit underpowered, but, like, there's good stuff in there.
Illustrate my point, I'm going to read out every single item that can be found in an ancient city. Here we go. Ward armor trim, silence armor trim, and finally enchanted golden apples, which would be useful if the warden didn't already one-shot you in full netherite armor.
Hang on, did you just notice that?
Finally enchanted golden apples.
He's missing something. He didn't mention Swift Sneak, like the best thing about the ancient city. He didn't mention the most important bit of loot in the fucking structure. What? Okay, so even putting aside Swift Sneak, there's good stuff here, okay? Like, diamond leggings, sure, nice. I always liked armor trims. Okay, I always liked armor trims. They just got added. I like armor trims. Skulk sensors, I mean, you can find a ton of them in ancient cities, and those are just fantastic for all things redstone. And Skulk. Skulk is a super pretty building block. I love using it. It looks so cool. Yeah, I don't know. This stuff is good. And then, once you add Swift Sneak on top of that, Swift Sneak is like a game-changing enchantment, especially if you're a builder. Just, like, instantly everything related to building, everything related to, like, being at a ledge at all, like, being in any sort of high location, instantly 3 times as convenient. So, it's more than a little weird to leave off probably the single biggest driving force in why someone would want to go to an ancient city. This is where we come to one of the biggest problems with JetStarfish's video. Lying. He transparently lies in this video, and he does it a lot. These things aren't matters of opinion or interpretation, they're just wrong. Swift Sneak is one of the biggest appeals of going to the deep dark, arguably the biggest appeal. And he doesn't mention the ordinary enchanted books either, which are quite valuable as well. Saying you're gonna list every reward from an ancient city and then leaving off the most important things is a bad idea for many reasons, and also straight up scummy, as we'll get to in a bit. And there's no way this wasn't intentional. There's no way you're gonna seriously convince me he managed to remember the ancient city has leads and glowberries, but forgot the bit of treasure it's most known for. So from now on, I'll be keeping a lie counter up in the top left and increasing it every time he says something that's objectively false.
Which would be useful if the warden didn't already one-shot you in full netherite armor. But you're probably asking yourself right now.
Okay, so it doesn't do that. I get it's sort of hyperbole, but if I remember right, it doesn't one-shot you in full netherite armor. I will check that.
Jet, how could you have forgotten to talk about the
Swift Sneak. Okay.
recovery?
Oh, never mind. I forgot about the recovery compass too. This is also useful. I know he's gonna say it's not, because I know he said that before. Recovery compass is good. Seriously. You know, even in the late game, you're gonna be dying. It's gonna happen. You fall into a mob farm. You get into a PvP match. You fall off a high place somewhere far away. You fall into lava in the nether and you want to recover your netherite gear. You know, like, it's gonna happen. And a recovery compass is great for those sorts of situations.
It's the most useful item the ancient city has to offer, allowing you to easily...
No, it's not. Swift Sneak is better, which you also have not mentioned.
...locate your items when you die. The recovery compass sucks ass. Like that guy said, it points to your last death location, which is admittedly a very useful feature. The only problem is it's kept in the ancient city, which we've already established as the most dangerous location in the entire game. If you're able to get it, you're most likely a pretty skilled player, meaning you're not gonna die too often, but the players who do die often aren't experienced enough to traverse through the ancient city, which is where the problem is. Those who can get to the compass don't need it since they're already skilled enough to obtain it, and those who...
Okay, I've never gotten this argument. Do you know how many times people die when they're in the ancient city? It happens a lot. If they got to the recovery compass, then they don't need it anymore, doesn't make any sense, because they probably died several times on the way to the compass. Even then, like, what if they refight the Ender Dragon, and then they get, like, you know how it, like, launches you super far into the sky? What if, like, what if that happens or something? I don't know. And then they need to locate where their items are super fast on the end island. Or, I don't know. Okay, it's hard to think of these sorts of situations off the top of my head, but do you understand what I mean? Or, like, you're out exploring, you fall into lava, and you get out in time, but you still burn to death or whatever. Like, it happens, you know? You fall into a really dangerous cave. I don't know. You fall into a stalagmite, you don't have feather falling, or you just fall far enough that it doesn't matter.
Enough to obtain it are the ones who actually need it, but they can't get to it because they're not skilled enough. But if they get skilled enough, they don't need the compass anymore because they're not going to die. So what's the point of going there at all? Dude, it's a Minecraft item. Who cares? I care.
So do I, and you're wrong.
Too much risk and too little reward, and you'll end up with the ancient city.
Okay, I can't help but notice, again, that you still have not mentioned Swift Sneak, which would at least double the reward from going to an ancient... Like, it should at least be up here. Like, even without Swift Sneak, it should be here. With Swift Sneak, it is at least, like, here, which is still less than the risk, you know? It's still somewhat underpowered, but it's pretty dishonest to have the reward be so low, especially when you're not even mentioning the best thing in the structure. Like, undisputed the best.
The second question is still up for debate. What stage of the game should it inhabit? When should the average player visit an ancient city? Well,
probably
since the warden is probably the most dangerous mob in the entire game, I would argue you should visit it during the late game, probably sometime after you've defeated the Ender Dragon.
I don't know. I've done it in early game before, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, the thing about the warden, though, is, like, because it basically kills you in 2 hits, regardless of what armor you're wearing, you can challenge it basically any time. All you really need is, like, some wool and some torches, and that's kind of it. Maybe some, like, snowballs or eggs or something. Like, other than that, it really inhabits a kind of special place where it can be challenged at basically any point in the game. I don't think you should be doing it necessarily after the dragon.
So, to make sure it's locked to that stage of the game, we're going to introduce the...
Wait, locked? Why? Why locked? What if I want to do it early? What? Okay, whatever.
Abyss Explorer map. It gives you the...
Alright, I'm down for this.
The exact location of one of these ancient cities, and just like the other Explorer maps, can be purchased from a cartographer village. But here's the twist. He'll only be able to give you that trade after the Ender Dragon has been defeated.
Okay, but why? Why? Why not just give me the opportunity to explore it early? Why not? That'd be fun. Yeah, it might be more likely that I die in the process, but screw it. That'd be fun. I want to have that. Okay, I want to have that, be able to do that. I don't see why it should be locked till after the dragon. That also, like, that's such a weirdly arbitrary point. Like, how does killing a dragon cause all the villagers to simultaneously activate a trade? Okay, whatever.
This ensures that players can only find an ancient city after they beat the dragon, making its place in Minecraft's progression a lot more straightforward.
Why does it need to be straightforward? Okay, there's this game called Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Very good game. I've brought it up before on this channel. And one of the coolest things about it is that you can challenge the final boss basically anytime. Like, you finish the tutorial in the first 20 minutes to an hour, maybe, and then you can run straight to the boss and kill it if you're good enough. Like, you can run straight to Ganon and boom, done. But basically no one does that because they want to explore the rest of the world. What's so much fun about Breath of the Wild is that you can do any of the things in the game, basically, in any order you want. And Minecraft is the same way. The only real restrictions on movement are portals. The Nether portal, you need at least 3 iron for a bucket. And for the End portal, you need to have gone to the Nether and killed some blazes. And that's it. Those are the only requirements. Other than that, you can go up to the Ender Dragon, never having mined a diamond before, or you can go in full netherite. It is up to you, and that is fantastic. It's one of the best features in the entire game. I don't understand how you could ever want to take that away. Terrible, terrible suggestion, right off the bat. Also, Abyss Explorer maps are locked until you beat the dragon. So what about multiplayer? Do they spawn when one person defeats the dragon, or does each individual member have to unlock the trade? If somebody else unlocks the trade on a villager, can other players access it, therefore rendering this limitation pointless? Or can they just not access the trade despite the villager already having it?
But then again, there's always the chance that someone just stumbles upon one by accident. So to solve that problem, I came up...
How is that a problem? That's cool. It gives you something to work toward if you find it, like, early on in the game. Or hell, you can just try it when it's early on. That gives a use to the fact that there are diamond pants there. Because maybe you don't even have diamond armor yet. Maybe you don't even have iron armor yet. And you just want to do the ancient city for fun. That's totally valid. But why do we need to lock it away?
Came up with a genius idea. We made them a little bit rarer.
They're already rare enough. This is so unnecessary.
I could come up with a better solution, but I've been making this video for—
It doesn't need to be solved!
So that's the second one down, but there's still one more question we need to answer. What reward does it offer? Why should I go through all this trouble to find an ancient city? What greater—
For Swift Sneak, maybe? Are you gonna mention that now?
So to aid us in this noble grind of obtaining unnecessarily powerful armor, we're going to introduce a form of XP storage. Meet the Skulk Vial. It's crafted with 7 Echo Shards and can hold up to 1,395 experience points, which equates to exactly 30 levels. By shift right clicking, you can instantly store any amount of XP you want, throw it in a chest, and save it for later. This vial alone gives a whole new reason to visit an ancient city. It offers something that'll be useful to the player for years to come.
You know, to some degree, I don't see the use in it. I feel like, assuming under JetStarfish's premises that you're not dying very often, I don't really see why you would need this. But if you are dying very often, then there's a use for the recovery compass. So I feel like either way, his point kind of fails. I mean, it's still a cool feature, but I wanted to bring that up.
And we're going to remove the recovery compass from ancient cities and instead put it in the Woodland Mansion, which we're also going to—
I'd rather have them both be in the Woodland Mansion. Okay, here's my idea for the Woodland Mansion, okay? What if the Woodland Mansion has a little bit of loot from every other structure in the game? Like canonically in story, it's like the Illagers, the Vindicators, whatever, they're going out and they're like stealing and looting all the structures as well, you know? Like they go out and they find a Heart of the Sea from the buried treasure and they take it back to their Woodland Mansion. You know, they go out and they get a couple of sponges from an ocean monument, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's too difficult for them. And then they take it back, you know, and then that's in the chest. So I'd be fine with this tool. I think this would be cool, as long as you could still craft them from, like, skulk shards in the ancient city, and you could still find them in the ancient city. As long as you could still craft them from skulk shards in the ancient city. You know, like, that's a not renewable, but that's another way of getting them.
Which we're also going to make 3 times more common. You're welcome.
Okay, but I like how rare they are. That's fun. You know, it's like an Easter egg. It would feel kind of weird to have so many giant mansions all over the place, you know? Being so absurdly, ridiculously rare it's kind of fun. I don't know, I like it.
But first, I have a very special announcement to make. You may have noticed in the last few clips that the items I'm talking about are, you know, actually real. I'm not just talking out of my ass anymore. Yeah. And that's because I've decided to code them into my very own mod. That's right. Oh, cool. I've shipped 10 Taiwanese sweatshop workers directly to my house to code this mod from my basement. It's available to download now on my Patreon.
Wait, this is a paid mod.
Which is only $8 a month.
Okay. So all of this so far has been an advertisement. Okay. You know, this explains why you didn't mention Swift Sneak. You know, because if you mentioned Swift Sneak, then it would make the Skulk Vial seem a lot less necessary, because ancient cities would already have enough to begin with. I guess he just intentionally tried to make ancient cities sound worse to make his mod sound more appealing? What the fuck? Can you even do this? Okay, so as it turns out, no, this is straight up illegal. Like, full-on criminal offense. Probably. See, Minecraft's End User License Agreement, or EULA, prohibits the sale of any third-party content related to the game. This means that you can distribute mods and servers for free, but if you put a price tag on them, that's illegal. If you look at a summary right here, there's a section that very clearly states, any mods you create for Minecraft Java Edition from scratch belong to you, including pre-run mods and in-memory mods. And you can do whatever you want with them, as long as you don't sell them for money / try to make money from them. From my interpretation of this statement, JetStarfish putting the mod on his paid Patreon would absolutely count as trying to make money from them, and would be a violation of Minecraft's licensing, and would therefore be straight up against the law. Maybe there's some other legal interpretation of this that wouldn't implicate him, but as far as I can tell, it's pretty damn clear cut. To address the pinned comment, JetStarfish said that he paid hundreds of dollars for this mod to be created. I'm sorry to say, dude, but I think you got ripped off. Most of the features you suggested in this video would involve changing like one number in a single line of code. Change this from a 1 to a 1.5, boom. Now powered rails propel you a bit faster. Go to the packed ice code, type in something like if in nether equals true, set state melting, boom, packed ice melts in the nether. And changing the loot tables is easy too. Most of these tweaks would take absolutely no time at all. Even the EXP vial would just involve storing some numbers as data in the item and changing it with a right click. The EXP orbs are already entities, so it wouldn't be hard. The only thing that might even be somewhat time consuming would be the actual visual design for the bottle and the stamina bar. But you could do that yourself in like an hour maximum if you're even halfway competent at using Photoshop. This isn't like Pixelmon or RLCraft where they need to add hundreds of new textures, change the world generation, and create 3D models for a whole bunch of creatures. This entire mod is fucking tiny in comparison to many Minecraft mods, and those ones are free. And as for all the lies, if he really worked on this video for 6 months, he should have caught this shit. I caught it my first time through. This is either unbelievably incompetent or he's actively lying. There is no other explanation. The mod and the fact that he worked on it for 6 months completely changes the tone of the video. It goes from, here are some things we could do to improve Minecraft. Whoops, looks like I forgot some stuff, to, let's make all the exploration features sound worse to convince you to pay me for a solution you don't actually need. After all, I worked so hard on it. I deserve it, don't I? Oh, well, he's changed like 6 lines of code in total. Also, suddenly changing the mod to early access once a ton of people point out that selling it is illegal. Isn't that a bit weird? Especially when you're still claiming that it's not actually illegal. I mean, he still made a shit ton of money off of it. And after a month or so, it's not like the video is gonna be getting as many views as in the first week. He's gonna get all of the money he would be making anyway without facing legal consequences or any blowback from the community. It's the perfect crime. Literally. And if you're wondering why I'm getting so fed up about this, it's because this behavior is new on Jet's channel. He's always been a bit of a hack. I responded to one of his older videos and that one was bad too, but it was nowhere near as terrible as this. It's frustrating because I know he saw my last video. He left this lovely comment on it. And yet my efforts have clearly gone to waste because he just created this pile of shit. He's gone from missing the point of some features to actively lying to trick you out of your money. And you know what's happened because of it? His video gained almost 1 million views in just 10 days. He's gotten 50,000 subscribers and his Patreon money has fucking quadrupled. Basically, I ended up making this video the way I did because JetStarfish is getting worse and I don't want you to get scammed. So to summarize, JetStarfish transparently lied about the game in an attempt to make it more appealing for you to illegally buy a tiny and completely outclassed mod from him for $8. The aristocrats. I guess while we're shamelessly plugging ourselves, it'd be cool if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Anyway, back to the reaction.
It's genuinely a really high quality mod. I spent a ton of time with the sweatshop, the developers, to ensure that this is the best mod it can possibly be.
Sure.
So if you find any bugs while playing...
I still don't... Okay, maybe this is a controversial opinion. I understand why games have to be sold. Like, companies have to make money, workers have to make money. I do not like it when fan content is sold. I really, like, massive pet peeve of mine. I want the fan community to be a place that is for genuine love and or criticism of a game. I want the fan community to be a place that is a community, you know? Like, it's a group of people who are, as a group, passionate about something. Monetizing that takes away from the fan community. Monetizing the fan community makes it so there isn't a fan community anymore. It's just a place to make money. Another place. We already have enough of those. I want to be able to talk about Minecraft and watch criticism videos, good ones like White Lights, and not get bombarded by their ads. I don't want to watch a video that feels like an ad for something they're selling, which so far is what this video is sounding like.
With that out of the way, let's get back to fixing Minecraft's exploration.
Okay, fixing its exploration problem. When you bring up one thing that is not a problem, a second thing that is not a problem, and then dishonestly leave out a third thing that would make both of those previous things seem like less of a problem.
Minecraft has an incredibly diverse world. It's full of lush greenery, unique animals, and interesting structures, like those stupid goddamn desert wells that just sit there for no reason.
Again, their flavor. Okay, whatever. It's not worth explaining. You wouldn't listen.
Importantly, and this tiny sliver of colors right here is every other biome in the game.
Wow, damn, dude. You don't, like, explore at all? It's crazy, man. I can tell you if it were my ratios, it would be like a third of the time in the original biome, and then I'd be going out into other biomes all the time. That's how I play the game.
Almost everything the player needs is found underground. Need ores for armor and tools? Go underground and mine for it. Need an enchant table or lapis? Go underground and mine for it. Need obsidian to get to the nether? Go underground and mine for it. Caves are overflowing with useful items to the player, whereas the surface has pretty much just two things, food and wood.
Okay, but what about the nether? Those are also biomes, and they have a ton of unique resources. quartz, very pretty, useful in some very important redstone devices. You got tons of gold, way easier than finding it in the overworld generally. You got nether fortresses, nether brick, that's like a super cool building block. Both of the nether wood types, shroom lights, gas tiers, blaze rods, like tons of great stuff in the nether. Basalt, blackstone. Yeah, I don't know. You spend a lot of time in the nether too. Were you counting that in your original pie chart? Going back to that thing he said earlier, trees and animals can be found almost anywhere, but the same trees and the right animals? As a builder who likes using a pretty wide palette of blocks, I tend to do quite a bit of exploring, especially early on, so I can find dark oak, spruce, and acacia trees, for example.
Since most important items can be found underground, players are obviously going to spend more time there. And if every biome has the same underground...
Also, just food and wood seems like a bit of an exaggeration, considering that basically all generated structures are on the surface. Buried treasure is basically on the surface, shipwrecks are on the surface, desert temples are on the surface, woodland mansions are on the surface, trail ruins are sort of on the surface, villages, like bunch of structures, basically all the structures except for, ironically, ancient cities, and the ones that generate in the nether and end, basically all of them are on the surface. Oh, and dungeons. Dungeons are also underground. And also abandoned mine. Okay, there are a few that are underground, but most of them are above the surface. They have some pretty useful stuff too.
It's far too easy to get everything you need from one specific area. Trees and animals can be found almost anywhere. Every biome spawns the same amount of ores. When every biome...
Well, hang on, that is not even remotely true. Okay, mesas spawn way more gold. Mountains spawn like a ton more iron and coal. And also emeralds, which, like, I mean... way easier to get from villagers, but, you know, at least, like, the ore itself is kind of cool looking. I feel like I'm missing one. Whatever. Not even remotely true.
Almost functionally the same. There's no reason.
Functionally the same. Do you see the biomes you're looking at here, dude? Like, way easier to get sand here. Super useful item. Can make it into glass. Okay, jungles are basically just food and wood, of course, but, you know, that's kind of the point of a jungle. Tons of terracotta, red sand, very pretty block. Oh yeah, sandstone can only be gotten from deserts and mesas. Terracotta, yeah, clay. What's this next one? I mean, if you want any blocks related to snow and ice, you gotta go to one of these snowy biomes.
To go out and find new ones, resulting in players staying at spawn for...
Not if you want any of those items I just mentioned.
Their entire play.
Or any of, like, the tree types, or, like, there are some animals that only spawn in certain biomes. The biomes are intentionally quite different. It's not just aesthetic stuff.
We're going to add underground biomes.
Okay.
Fuck was that?
Yeah, we already did that.
Why are you at my house?
We added a few different cave variants, but it didn't work for some reason.
What do you mean it didn't work? They were great. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah, because they're all completely useless.
Okay. No, they aren't. No, they are not. I'm going to look up and list every single feature in both of them real quick. Let's see. Lush caves. You got axolotls. Those are super cute. Okay, so let's see. Well, there's azalea trees. So those are great already. The leaves are super pretty. Rooted dirt. Very cool decoration block. Moss. Moss, very useful for a lot of different stuff. Allows you to get infinite versions of some blocks, which is very cool. Oh, cave vines and glowberry. Great way to do some like natural looking lighting. Spore blossoms, again, very pretty. Drip leaf. I mean, it's all decoration stuff. Oh, except for the clay. The clay is very genuinely very useful. It can turn into tons of bricks and like terracotta and that sort of thing if you can't find a mesa. Yeah, absolutely tons of clay. Like ridiculous amounts. Okay, dripstone caves, dripstone blocks, very cool looking again. Pointed dripstone, pretty useful for a bunch of different decoration stuff, and also for like traps and that sort of thing, especially in multiplayer. This biome also generates larger copper ore blobs compared to other biomes. Oh, so there's extra copper too. As a person who uses a lot of copper, it's pretty cool. God, that was the biome I was forgetting. It was dripstone caves. They also spawn more ores. Okay, so completely useless. Again, I get it's hyperbole, but even the hyperbole is wrong.
Why the hell would anyone want to go out and find a dripstone cave?
Because dripstone looks cool.
That's a good point, actually.
Okay, straw man. Whatever.
Do you have any other ideas?
Well, you could make different amounts of each ore spawn in certain biomes, and citing players to explore if they need more of a...
That already exists. Stop pretending it doesn't. That already exists. I literally just looked at the article for dripstone caves. and they spawn more copper than normal. And I like copper. Even if you think copper is fucking useless, which I know this guy does, which is also an incorrect opinion. It's very cool. Even if, what about gold and mesas? You know, like, obs can use it to, like, barter with piglins and stuff. It's fucking everywhere in mesas. Like, this is just objectively wrong.
They need more of a particular resource.
That would be too much work.
They already did it!
Jesus, you really do suck at this. Why the hell would that be too much work?
Why are you implying they're worse than they are when they already did the thing? Fuck, I hate you!
Do your employees work more than 30 minutes a day? You are the biggest company in the goddamn...
They already did the work!
Beneath the surface lies a gold mine. Like, not a figurative gold mine, like an actual just mine of gold. The Badlands is one of only 2 biomes in the game that has its own unique origin.
Okay, so there are 3. There are 3, but whatever.
Distribution, generating over 3 times more gold than any other area. The second of these biomes...
Okay, so you just contradicted yourself as well. You were just saying about that Mojang didn't add any biomes like this, and you're already saying that there are 2, even though that's also wrong, and there are 3. Arguably 4 if you count that mountains generate way more iron and coal.
Biomes is the mountains, which is the only place you can find emeralds in their ore form. Now,
so arguably this is true with 4 different ores, and he's only mentioning, no, not even 4, 5. Inarguably with 3, arguably it's 5, and he's only mentioning 2. That's a little weird, especially since he's trying to sell you a mod that fixes this problem.
You're not going to be traveling out to a Badlands biome for 5 extra gold ingots. But in...
Speak for your fucking self, I am. If there's a Badlands biome within like 500, 1,000 blocks, I will absolutely build a nether portal there so I can get there quickly, and I'll have my gold mine be there. You know, with a cave update, which added a bunch of great new features, including different generation heights for different ores, that's a valid strategy now. You know, I have a different strip mine at every different height for a different ore, and the ones that I have for my gold are often in mesas, because they have way more of it.
Let's say that you need a large amount of coal for a project you're doing, and don't want to spend 40,000 years gathering it all. Well, instead of slaving away to strip mine directly...
To be clear, I still think it would be cool for them to expand this feature, but he is being very dishonest about this.
This is because deserts are often sites of ancient ocean basins, which when filled by surrounding rivers with sediments containing organic remains, offer just the right conditions for oil and gas to form. Yeah, I studied plate tectonics to find out which Minecraft biome was more likely to have coal. I hate my life.
Okay, dude, it takes like a 10-minute Google search. It's not that hard. Stop pretending it's hard. It's not.
Biomes had higher levels of certain resources, it would make players want to go out and find them, giving an incentive to explore rather than sit in one place and get all your resources from there. Copper could be more common in oceans because
it's already more common in dripstone caves, but sure.
It forms on real-life seafloors. Diamonds could be more common in jungles because rainforests often house precious...
Okay. So he's acknowledging copper as an important ore for this sort of thing to apply to, yet not mentioning that it does apply to dripstone caves, which he complained didn't have any features. I fucking hate this video.
If you're curious, here's how I mapped it out for every other biome in the game, taking into account balancing, realism, and also just what I felt like.
Okay, let's see. So this already exists, which, you know, whatever. Sure, why not? I mean, this again already sort of exists. Like, iron already generates way more often at super high altitudes. The only biomes that get that high up are mountains already. So this one already sort of exists. Yeah, why not? I mean, it feels a little underpowered. Lapis is like very few uses. Actually, you know what? That's one thing I never hear mentioned. Everyone complains about how copper is useless. You know, copper, oh, the block that's looks incredibly cool that you can use for all sorts of new features now with 121 coming out. And everyone says it's useless. Fucking okay. And then no one ever seems to talk about how Lapis is like objectively the most useless ore in the entire game. It's always copper that's being complained about, never Lapis. I wonder fucking why. People, for some reason, have this incessant need to hate on modern Minecraft. It's not like there aren't criticisms of it, but I always think it's weird that like people pick on copper so much, and yet Lapis is sitting right there, and it's objectively way more useless.
So here's a simple solution. Don't make trades exclusive to certain biomes, simply make them more common. Okay. Imagine if in that desert idea from earlier, I'd made it so that coal could only be found...
Wait a second. Oh my god, this makes everything so much fucking worse. Okay, so look at how this is phrased. So to make certain trades more common in certain biomes, you would also have to be making all of the other trades less common in those biomes. Let's say it goes from, I don't know, a 2% chance of getting mending to like a 30% chance of getting mending in a swamp, something like that. That means that all of the other trades besides mending get pushed down in likelihood. And what this means is, let's say you spawn into a biome that doesn't really have many great traits, you know? Like, the ones it boosts are like Bane of Arthropods and Frostwalker or something like that in terms of villager traits. 50% of the time you're going to get one of those. You know what this does? It means that if the player wants to get mending, it just means that they're going to be breaking the lectern to get mending for twice as long. It would just make that process more tedious. It would just trade the cool task that's very slightly more difficult to the extremely boring task that takes very slightly less time. This is a terrible change. Okay, whatever.
Imagine if in that desert idea from earlier, I'd made it so that coal could only be found in the desert and...
Okay, but coal is an essential ore. Like, you cannot smelt anything in reasonable quantities without coal or charcoal, but, you know, I know what you mean. Or if you were to lock off diamonds, you know, to only jungles, you cannot get good armor without diamonds. You can get good armor with just an enchanting table. The enchanting table is the same everywhere. I don't really see the problem with fully restricting villagers. I think it's the much more balanced approach.
With these small changes, Minecraft's biome system has been completely reworked. Every single biome now offers something useful to the player in both early and late stages of the game.
First of all, I think this was true to begin with. Like, there are certain resources you can, if you want cherry trees, gotta go to a cherry grove. If you want a ton of iron, you gotta go to a mountain. You know, like if you want to get a ton of iron really fast, it's either mountains or you make an iron farm. Gold, go to Badlands. You want a ton of spruce and don't want to have to grow the trees yourself? Go to one of these old growth forests.
I'm firing this guy.
Okay, I might end up agreeing with him more on this one. Transportation is a bit broken in Minecraft, I'll admit.
Okay, here's our goal. We need to stop the player from wanting to keep their stuff in one central area.
Okay, but why? Why not? That's a perfectly valid playstyle.
It hinders exploration and generally just makes the game.
Hinders exploration. But what if they don't want to explore? If this is a game about deciding what you want to do, which it is, then they shouldn't have to explore if they don't want to.
2010! Minecraft was still in its infancy, and players needed a fast way to get around their world. So, Notch introduced minecarts. By setting up rail lines in between locations, you would be able to make permanent...
Yeah, minecarts are definitely a relic of the past. They used to be a really great way of getting around, and now they're not, you know? I mean, like, hopper minecarts are still super useful. Like, chest minecarts can still be very useful in a lot of redstone stuff, but obviously that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about, like, getting into one as a player.
As long as you had a stable food source, unlike many of the 1,200.
Okay, you're overusing this joke. Dude, stop. This is too many times.
2013! The horse update is released, which, as you can probably tell, adds horses, a new mode of transport that's faster than minecart. Travel 14 meters per second, a hell of a lot faster than 8, and saddles are now found in pretty much every chest in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Horses are still objectively better than minecarts, though, in basically every situation.
Horses are just infinitely better than minecarts in every single way. That's called the meta, okay? And trust me, Mojang is not gonna add anything crazier than that. 2016! Flying is now a vanilla mechanic. Cause that makes sense.
Yeah, sure, why not?
At least it's hard to get, right? Jesus Christ.
I mean, you have to go through the entire end first to do it, and then you have to travel possibly 1,000 blocks over the void to get to that place. And then you have to climb all the way up, avoid the shulkers. Okay, whatever. It's not even worth talking about. It's still probably too easy to get, though.
Horses made the minecart obsolete, the elytra made horses obsolete, and chest boats.
Okay, elytras didn't make horses obsolete. Like, let's say you just don't want to get the elytra that fast. Or let's say you're playing on a multiplayer server and you literally can't. Then horses are super useful. It's also worth noting that most Minecraft players don't beat the dragon. Online we're pretty biased because the only people who stick around for Minecraft Reddit and videos criticizing Minecraft are the ones who already know the ins and outs of the game and are pretty committed to it. But most of the casual fan base doesn't even bother with the end. And for that massive portion of the Minecraft player base, horses are very useful.
It almost explains the ultra low wages of the 1,200 migrant.
Stop! This is like the 4th, 5th time you've used this joke. Stop! It's not funny. And not like because it's offensive or anything. I don't really think it is. It's just so repetitive.
We're going to replace the gold in the powered rail recipe with copper. Not only does this make it a lot cheaper, because let's face it, we all have way more copper than we need these days.
Speak for yourself. I use it as a building material, so I actually probably not enough.
This also gives another use to copper, which it is entire in need of. This thing has like 2 crafting recipes.
Okay, I need to break down how dishonest this is. Holy shit. Okay, let's say we're disregarding all blocks that are used for building. We're disregarding all the weathered forms, disregarding the blocks themselves. We're not counting the stairs or the slabs, or the trapdoors or the doors. These blocks are not used for progression either. So clearly he's not talking about progression blocks. So I don't see why we shouldn't be including those. This list is not 2 items. It is, I'm going to pull up copper real quick. Let's just see. We have blocks of copper. Very cool. Cut copper. The slabs, the stairs, those like the only other blocks you can do that with that are ores are quartz stuff. Lightning rods, of course, you mentioned. Spyglass. I can't help but mention he completely refused to mention archaeology. Obviously not the most useful feature, but neither are these, so I don't see why you wouldn't mention that. As for stuff coming in 121, didn't mention copper bulbs. Very, very useful redstone component that he just did not bring up. You got copper doors, copper trapdoors, very, very cool new additions. Chiseled copper, copper grate, very cool. I mean, you can use it for armor trims, which is whatever. So that's what? Let's not count anything oxidized, okay? Like, let's just count the base versions. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 uses. 13 with the archaeology brush, and he mentioned 2.
But this also gives another use to copper, which it is entire in need of.
I don't really think it is. It's already got tons of building blocks. This is like saying that stone bricks don't have enough uses. It's a building block. I don't know what to tell you, man.
But we're not just gonna stop there. Let's take the old gold powered rail recipe and repurpose.
This is still a cool idea, though. Just very dishonest framing.
Horses should be the go-to transport method when planning an adventure, but they shouldn't be used to travel between existing areas.
I think they can be used to travel between existing areas if, 1, the distance is not too long, and 2, if it's an area that you just haven't set up a minecart track yet for. That's how horses were used in real life.
But luckily for you guys, I'm the second coming of Jesus Christ.
All right,
so
man.
I know exactly how to solve this problem. Almost. We're like almost there. We're so close. There's just one last thing we need to take care of, and that is ice boat highways. Because Jesus Christ, these things are horrible. By pairing a boat with a trail
Hey, I love them. Thank you very much.
of solid ice,
It's like minecarts, but better.
you're able to achieve ungodly speeds.
Yeah, and that's fun.
Remember those minecart changes we made earlier? Well, with the super-powered rails, as well as the general speed boost, you'll be going at a max speed of about 40 miles an hour. Ice boat roads are 170.
Yeah!
Gathering a ton of ice is infinitely easier than gathering
I'm going on the fucking Autobahn. Woo!
a ton of rails. So if you think that this is in any way fair or balanced,
It objectively isn't, but it's so much fun.
please unsubscribe from my YouTube channel and block me on Twitter.
Although, to be fair, you do have to find a lot of ice first, which, if you're spawning in a warmer biome, it's going to be hard. And you're going to have to explore to do so. You know, if we're talking about exploration, there you go.
Because I do not want you here. Now, we could just make boats slower on ice, which we are going to do, but I wanted something.
Why? No! I love them so much. Why?
Ice was never supposed to exist in the Nether, dumbass.
Okay.
Ice was never supposed.
You know what? Okay, if the only one he's changing is packed ice, I'm okay with that. I want blue ice to still be able to exist in the Nether, because 1, it's way the hell more expensive, but 2, it's also like canonically super packed ice. So, you know, it makes sense that it would be harder to melt. And that can just be like a more expensive version of a minecart track, you know? Like, I like this. It's fun. And then let us use packed ice in the overworld, please. Also, one other negative of iceboat highways is that they cannot go vertically. Minecarts can. That is a benefit of minecarts over iceboat highways. If you want to go down into a mine, minecarts are better. If you want to go a long distance, very flat and straight, iceboats are better.
And now minecarts are fully balanced. You see how much work that was? God damn, I'm just gonna go and make videos on my live channel. Now, the thing I've neglected to mention throughout all of this is the elytra.
I don't really think that was a lot of work.
It is so outrageously useful that it's probably more worth it to speedrun the entire game and get it first than spend any time getting other forms of transport.
Okay, but is it more fun? Because, like, I can tell you that most people don't do this. Most people don't even beat the dragon, to be clear. Like, the vast majority of Minecrafters don't even beat the Ender Dragon. Like, it's really just the tryhards like me and this guy. And even then, I don't do it that fast. I wait quite a while before I do it. Just because, like, I have other better things to do. So, like, worth it? Yeah, technically, but is it something that people are going to be doing? No, you know?
For now, I'm just going to make the chances of finding an end ship 3 times less, but we'll definitely come back to this in a later video because that is a lazy...
Okay, I don't like it, but whatever.
We have, in my opinion, fixed transportation and honestly,
All right.
exploration as a whole. Throughout this video, we've done...
I feel like a lot of the things you mentioned didn't need fixing, and I feel like a lot of the things you mentioned, you purposely exaggerated so you could sell a product, which I don't like. Sure, man. God, I hated this video.
A lot of things, from structures to biomes to... I forgot to do anything with the desert.
You don't need to. They're just flavor. You don't need to do... Hell, Mojang already did, like, the best thing they could have done with the desert well, and that's tying it into archaeology. It was always meant to just be a flavor thing, and that's what archaeology is, you know? Archaeology is a flavor feature. So having archaeology, the flavor feature, be tied in with desert wells, the flavor feature, that's super cool. Don't do anything with the desert well. Doesn't need it.
And it is single-handedly the reason why Minecraft can never and will never be a true exploration game. The 1,200
Oh my god.
migrant workers.
All right.
Called the netherite upgrade template. Now, in addition to needing your previous diamond equipment, you would also need an upgrade template to craft netherite. But here's the kicker. It can only be found in bastion remnants. This at first seems great. It's the first time exploring something has been mandatory for progression since the addition of the stronghold over 10 years ago.
Okay, but what about netherite? What about enchantments? Like, there's been other stuff since then, but sure. I feel like this is, again, just objectively not true.
For a worthwhile reward, and is overall a...
Oh god, and then he shows netherite right after. This video was made to irritate me, I swear.
Not to mention the dozens of different playstyles that exist within it. A builder doesn't want to be forced to fight the warden. They just want to build their house and be a little pussy.
Okay, so first of all, I would consider myself a builder. You know, I love fighting the warden. Second of all, building is like the entire point of Minecraft. I don't think this gets mentioned often enough. He's showing that there are 8 sections here, like they're equally large. I would say building, this would probably be this section, building is probably like, I would say maybe 60-70% of the Minecraft player base falls into the builder category primarily. And of the rest of the player base, probably another 20% would be redstoners. So all in all, that's like 80-90% of the player base that's one of these 2. And then probably the rest, like 20%. That's all of the rest of these combined. It's really builders and redstoners that are the backbone of Minecraft. When you see Minecraft stuff being posted on social media, it's always a crazy build or a crazy redstone contraption. It's never, I 360 no-scoped someone with my bow. So calling like 60-70% of the player base cowards, it's a little bit of a weird thing to do, but whatever.
If you look back on every feature I've suggested in this video, not a single one is necessary for the player to complete. You can get by just fine without...
Except if you want to get to an ancient city, apparently you need an explore map and to have already beaten the dragon.
We've done a pretty damn good job at improving it. Again, the mod containing all of the...
Yep, and this reminder, this whole video is an ad. So, final thoughts on the video. It was so much worse than I thought it would be. JetStarfish consistently lied throughout the entire thing, misleading all of his viewers into thinking they needed to buy something from him when in reality it was unnecessary. Not only did he completely disregard many of the actual merits of the things he talked about, like ignoring the entire building aspect of copper and important redstone features like observers, copper bulbs, and skulk sensors, but he also actively lied about those features for a profit. And all of it is hidden under the flashy but ultimately hollow coat of paint that is good editing. You know what? If it's legal, I might end up subscribing to his Patreon and then uploading his mod to Forge for free. He doesn't deserve the money he's making from it. I'm mad, man. Thank you, goodbye, and I'll see you sometime in the future. let's check out the comments. Okay, there have been a lot of questions regarding the mod. I want to make some things clear real quick. Or are you putting it behind a paywall? I don't know how to code. Okay, I have to pay developer hundreds of dollars to get it. Really? This is a tiny mod. There are like, what, 5 features in this mod? 5? 8? I don't know. And none of them would take, like, you're not developing new models or anything. How did this cost you hundreds of dollars to make? Paying developers for their work. Okay, dude, I'm assuming you have, what, 115 subscribers? This got 600,000 views in 6 days. You can pay the modders without needing to put it behind a paywall. Yeah, however, I totally understand if you're disappointed that it's paid. I'm going to shift to an early access. Okay, everyone who wanted the mod has already bought it by this. Okay, like, again, I don't want a community to be a place that is monetized. I don't like this at all. I still really hate this. Is putting the mod against Patreon? Minecraft EULA? Technically no, not selling the mod. Okay, this video is never meant to be an ad for the mod. In fact, the mod was an afterthought. The video would have been exactly the same. You left out all of the best features with the base game and completely misrepresented so many of them to make your suggestions sound better. And then you put a mod behind a paywall and you expect us to believe it's not an ad? The biggest problem with exploration is that your inventory fills up so fast you can't go 500 blocks without going to just ingest. Okay, this is a genuine problem, okay? Like, if you have shulker boxes, it's not an issue, but if you don't, it's a big problem, and most people do not. Mojang's actually already solving the multiplayer issue here in the form of trial chambers. The vaults are open per player, so even if someone else has already fully looted the chamber, yeah, that's cool. I really like that. Really hope they add that sort of functionality to Bastions. Yes, I hope so too. No one uses horses anymore. Me in my hardcore world using a horse to travel 2,000 blocks to the closest village I found. Yeah, true. I don't get this. Everyone uses horses. Not everyone, but a lot of people use horses. Like, a lot of people. Especially considering, again, most Minecraft players don't beat the dragon. If the end is so boring to explore, if you reduce the chances of getting elytra, people are going to die of boredom or the void. True! Oh my god, great point. Yeah, if you reduce the chances of finding an elytra, like, the worst part about the end is having to walk 1,000 blocks to find an end city. If you make it so instead of having to walk 1,000 blocks, you have to walk 3,000, that just makes the problem worse. I guess the temporary solution and all that, whatever, but it's still, I think, kind of telling that your temporary solution is still bad. Ancient city maps should be found in mansions. That's a cool idea. I like this. Actually, coal could be more common in swamps because coal from plant matter at the bottom of swamp basins, unlike oil and natural gas, which is found. Yeah, okay, so this is actually kind of interesting. So coal, oil, all that stuff is all formed by these dead microbacteria from ancient times, like before humanity, really, really old. Before even the dinosaurs, super, super old. We usually think of coal and oil as being like dead dinosaurs. That's not really true. It's actually dead, basically bacteria. But before, there was a time that those bacteria could be broken down by like fungus and that sort of thing. Anyway, I think it'd be better if we put a hunger bar to horses instead of a stamina bar. I think that's true. I'm going to be real with you, Chief. I'm not spending $8 on a Minecraft mod. Yeah, especially when so many better ones are free. Woodland Mansions being hard to find would probably be the point. Yeah, it is. That's the point of Woodland Mansions. This man has put both great and abysmal takes into one video, and I have no idea how to take it back. Yes! Oh my god. I feel like this is my biggest problem with a lot of video essays, where it's like, the first half will be total nonsense, and the second half will be basically objectively correct, and you feel bad to criticize it, because the second half was so good, but the first half was so terrible.